Welcome to Friendly AI. I'm your host, Mike Colangelo. In 2003, I avoided eating any fresh produce, and I pissed my own body weight in slime. And this year, I avoided talking too much about this topic because I just find it very confusing. And I'm not talking about the female orgasm. I'm talking about the PS4 and the Xbox One performance issue. The frame rate, the resolution, all that mumbo jumbo. Someone will claim that the PS4 is way more powerful than the Xbox One, even 50% more. It's way better. It cures cancer. On the other hand, before launch, there was a lot of developers and insiders saying that the Xbox One and the PS4 tech were pretty much the same. Now, after release and playing a bunch of games on both consoles, we now know that that's just not true. Just like we all know that OJ did it. Too soon? People are blaming the Kinect, the GPU of the Xbox One, even the eSRAM. I like to call it the eSRAM. I throw Z in there because I'm hip. It could be all those things that make it difficult for developers to harness the power of the Xbox One. I'm not even going to talk about the cloud. Fuck the cloud in the ear. Now, after the launch, you don't really hear developers claim that, the PS4 and the Xbox One have very similar hardware. But in a recent interview with lead designer of Rayman Legends, Emile Morel, he made the claim that both consoles are pretty much the same, and the performance on the multi-platform games should be similar. This is what he said during the interview. As always, people are trying to find differences between these two consoles to find out which one is the best and which one they should buy. I totally understand that. But the truth is, these two consoles are very close to each other on a tech point of view, and in the end, the only thing that will really matter is the catalog of games these consoles will offer. I totally agree with what he said about the catalog of games, but I question what he said about the tech being the same on both consoles. He also went on to say that Rayman Legends will look identical on both consoles, running at 1080p and 60 frames per second. Now, I'm no game developer, but surely it takes less time to adapt a game to a new console than it is to start a game from scratch, right? So perhaps the developers for Rayman Legends that made the PS4 and the Xbox One version had more time to figure out how to squeeze more power out of the Xbox One's weaker hardware. Another factor to consider is that Rayman Legends has amazing artwork, but really it's not a graphically demanding game. Another example is Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. Perhaps Crystal Dynamics had enough time to figure out the Xbox One hardware to make it 1080p on the Xbox One and the PS4, even though the frame rate on the Xbox One couldn't achieve the 60 frames per second that the PS4 did, because the core foundation of the game was already complete, so that gave them enough time to focus on the visual tweaks. Which brings me to my gut feeling about the Xbox One, and you might think I'm crazy when you hear it, like playing with your own poo crazy. And let us use Call of Duty Ghosts as an example. We all know that it's 720p on the Xbox One and 1080p on the PS4. Yes, I realize that the Xbox One is not as powerful as the PS4. That's already been established. The real question is, will the developers be able to close the performance gap of these two consoles? My answer is yes. I have a feeling that the next Call of Duty on the Xbox One will be 1080p at 60 frames per second. If I'm wrong, I'll totally eat my words, but I believe that developers will be able to close the performance gap within this generation on the Xbox One, meaning that 1080p and 60 frames per second will be the norm for most Xbox One games within a year from now. This is just my opinion. I'm not special. I just have average intelligence. I wasn't touched by angels. To be honest, I think it's very strange that right now Xbox One is struggling to perform 1080p resolution with some games. With 4K resolution games on the horizon, how could Microsoft miscalculate their hardware like this? Oh yeah, it's Microsoft. I thought that 1080p was going to be a given and the least of our worries for the Xbox One. My question for you, do you think the majority of Xbox One games in the future will be 1080p? Or do you think we'll go backwards and be playing like Halo 5 at 240p? I can't see Master Chief. If you want to read the entire interview, I'll leave a link down under, not Australia, but in the description. I know graphics are not the only thing that make a great gaming experience, but this performance gap leaves me scratching my head. If you don't get flying, I'm going to be scratching your head. No, not that one, you sicko. Such a pervert. You can follow me on Twitter, no pressure. Do it if you feel comfortable with me. You just got to know me probably, or you've seen a couple of my videos. Yeah, but just follow me on Twitter. I'll keep you up to date with gaming news and, of course, my videos. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. You'll automatically be put into a draw for a chance to win a trip with me to Planet Crin. Welcome to... Tiger uppercut! I hit myself in the head. Another example is... what the hell?